Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. College football week 1 continues. Talking Fresno State, Purdue in this one. Should be an interesting matchup. Line opened up Purdue laying 6 points at home here. Total opens up at 54.5. Let's dive in.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
So this line did not stay up at 6 for long. In fact, it's down to 4 now. Public's coming in on Purdue, though. Both tickets and handle slightly leaning Purdue. It's not crazy, but we're now looking at Purdue -4 on most books. So head coach Jeff Tedford returned to Fresno State last season after a 2-year hiatus for health concerns, and he picked up right where he left off. He brought the Bulldogs to a 10-4 season, reigning victorious in the Mountain West Championship game. But we're looking at massive changes for Fresno State in this one, specifically their offense. Fresno State returned just 48% of their offensive production from 2022. That's 112th in the FBS. They lost Jake Hayner, first-team All-Mountain West quarterback. They lost their top 3 receivers, and they lost Jordan Mims, who rushed for 1,400 yards last season. It's going to be tough to replace all that talent, but UCF transfer Mikey Keene should ease the blow a bit. He was a starter at UCF in 2021, and he was pretty good. 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 6.4 yards per attempt in 2021 isn't great, though. Now, last year, as you probably know, John Reese Plumlee took over as starting quarterback at UCF, but Mikey Keene made some spot starts and still took strides forward in his career. 72.3% completions, 159.2 passer rating, 6 touchdowns to 1 interception, and 7.8 yards per attempt. Started getting the ball downfield more. I mean, maybe it takes a week or two to find their rhythm, but I expect this Fresno State offense to be good again despite all the losses. But speaking of offensive losses, let's take a look at Purdue for a second, because the Boilermakers, 5 of the last 6 years, have been a top 2 passing offense in the Big Ten. 5 of the last 6 years. That was under offensive-minded head coach Jeff Brom at the helm. But not only did Jeff Brom leave, he took the Louisville job, the offensive coordinator left as well. And so did their quarterback, Aiden O'Connell. He's on the Raiders now. Just to give you an idea of what he was doing there, he threw for 7,200 yards and 50 touchdowns in his last 2 years at Purdue. Now they bring in new head coach Ryan Walters. He was the defensive coordinator at Illinois. Almost the complete opposite of Jeff Brom. I mean, this is a defense-first guy. That's not Purdue. That's not the Purdue we're used to. So we're looking at a big-time shift in this program. Offensively, they brought in Graham Harrell as the new coordinator, formerly the West Virginia OC, but you might remember him from his days throwing touchdown passes to Michael Crabtree at Texas Tech. That's where I remember him from. They also brought in a transfer play quarterback. You probably know him, Hudson Card. Made some starts for Texas, what was that, 2 years ago? So he's talented. So Walters did bring in the right pieces to run the offense, it appears, but new head coach, new OC, new quarterback, not exactly a combination you're jumping to place a bet on in week 1 of the season. Also, Graham Harrell ran a much more balanced approach at West Virginia, about a 50-50 split run to pass. That's a huge difference from what Purdue does. Last season, Purdue passed on 57.78% of their snaps, which was 12th in the FBS. And Harrell's going to have his hands full in this one, trying to create a run game, considering Purdue couldn't run the ball at all last season. They ranked 89th in the FBS in effective rush, 105th in rushing yards per game, and 101st in yards per carry. Good luck trying to create a run game at Purdue, Graham Harrell. Let's look at some numbers from last year. As you know, Fresno's offensive strength was throwing the ball. They were top 30 in effective pass, which is extremely good for a group of 5 school. Purdue's pass defense was not good. Bottom half of the FBS, 99th in yards per attempt allowed and 69th against in the ineffective pass. A lot of the problem was the pass rush. Karlaftis got drafted by the Chiefs. That was not last year, the year before. And after he left, Purdue just had 0 pass rush at all, just 81st in the country in sack rate. Now, to be fair to Purdue, I'm focusing on the negatives here. There are positives to bringing in Ryan Walters as head coach. First of all, did you get a look at Illinois' defense last year? It led the nation first, allowing just 12.8 points per game. Third in yards per game, allowing just 273.5 yards per game. That's first and third in the FBS. But again, it may take some time for that to translate over to Purdue, which really hasn't had much of a defense in a while. And I just really don't like the matchup here for Purdue's offense. You got Hudson Card coming in. All Purdue knows is passing the ball. Purdue last year, 15th in the country in effective pass rate. They had a top 15 passing game last year. But you want to know what the strength of Fresno State's defense was last year? Defending the pass. They were 33rd in the FBS in effective pass rate, 9th in yards per attempt, and 8th in average passer rating allowed. all elite numbers. And even though Fresno State did lose their best pass rusher, or one of their best pass rushers, they got two of the best corners in the Mountain West there. So I don't know what Purdue's going to do. A running game's not going to just form overnight. Real quick, let's talk some trends. Purdue 4-13 against the spread as home favorites. That's awful. 4-13 against the spread as home favorites since 2018. But they are 9-6 against the spread in their last 15 home openers, and more notably, 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 home openers against non-conference opponents. So one terrible trend for Purdue and 2 good ones. Meanwhile, Fresno State struggled to cover versus non-conference opponents, just 1-4 against the spread in the 5 games last year. I can't believe I'm considering taking Fresno State here after losing all that offensive production, but catching 4 points, 4.5 points, I gotta take it. I don't trust this Purdue team at all, especially not in week 1. So I'm leaning Fresno State as of right now. I also like the under, which is sitting at 47.5, I think 48. So right now I'm leading Fresno State plus the points and the under. I'll let you know my final decision on Saturday morning on the live show. If you want my top bets sent directly to your phone, download the Sauce Network app. Also comes with the Discord, parlay of the day, money tracking, all that stuff. If you're interested in that, you can head over to KyleKirms.com, or like I said, download the Sauce Network app. College football week 1, we're off to a good start. Let's keep it going. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you on Twitter.